Have you ever wondered how long you could go without food before your muscles start melting away? It sounds like a survival challenge, but the truth hides deep inside your biology. Somewhere between your brain, your liver, and your muscles, an ancient code decides what to burn and what to protect. And understanding that code could change how you see fasting forever. In the modern world, fasting is a buzzword. From celebrities to scientists, everyone seems fascinated by it. But before we dive into the science, picture this: your body, deprived of food, searching for energy, yet determined to keep you alive. Every cell begins whispering the same question: what should we burn first? Contrary to popular belief, the answer isn't immediately your muscle. Your body is far more strategic than that. It has evolved through millennia of famine and feast to survive days, even weeks, without destroying what keeps you strong. But there's a turning point, a biological threshold where protection gives way to desperation. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when that happens, the moment your body stops being clever and starts being cannibalistic. But before we reach that point, you need to understand the first phase of fasting. The first day without food feels deceptively peaceful. You might think nothing dramatic is happening, but inside, your body is quietly rearranging its priorities. The sugar, glucose, from your last meal fuels your brain and muscles for about 12 to 24 hours. During this time, your liver acts like a power bank, releasing stored glycogen to keep your blood sugar stable. As the hours tick by, glycogen stores begin to run low. Your body senses the change and triggers hormones like adrenaline and growth hormone, yes, growth hormone, to protect your lean mass and encourage fat breakdown. It's a fascinating paradox. Your body starts saving muscle by burning fat. You may notice mental clarity, even calmness, as insulin drops and ketones begin to form. These ketones, tiny molecules made from fat, are about to take center stage. But for now, the storm hasn't started yet. You're still in the quiet before the transformation. Most people believe fasting is simply not eating, but it's actually a biological symphony, each organ playing its part to preserve energy, focus, and strength. The real story of fasting starts when your body finally switches fuels. Around the 24 to 36-hour mark, the body begins one of its most extraordinary transitions, shifting from burning glucose to burning fat. This process, known as metabolic switching, is your body's ancient survival mechanism. It's what allowed our ancestors to endure long hunts and harsh winters without collapsing from hunger. As insulin levels plummet, fat cells release fatty acids into the bloodstream. The liver then transforms these fats into ketone bodies, a cleaner, longer-lasting energy source. These ketones don't just power your muscles, they cross the blood-brain barrier, fueling your mind with clarity and focus. It's your biology's version of a backup generator kicking in when the power grid fails. During this stage, the body fiercely protects muscle tissue. It's almost as if it knows that muscle means survival. The ability to move, to hunt, to fight. Protein breakdown slows dramatically, while fat becomes the star energy source. This is the metabolic sweet spot where fasting starts working for you, not against you. But this shift also marks a countdown, because while the body can thrive on fat for quite some time, there's a hidden timer ticking toward the moment it must reconsider its priorities. And that moment begins when autophagy takes control. Somewhere around the second or third day of fasting, your body activates a process so powerful it's often called cellular self-eating. This is autophagy, a built-in detox system that recycles old or damaged cell components, turning waste into energy. Think of it as your body's spring cleaning mode.
Instead of breaking down muscle for fuel, your body begins consuming dysfunctional proteins, scarred mitochondria, and even precancerous cells. It's a biological miracle. Fasting doesn't just withhold food, it triggers renewal. This is one of the reasons scientists link fasting to longevity and disease prevention. The brain benefits too. Autophagy cleans up neural pathways, improving focus and reducing inflammation. This is why many people report feeling mentally sharp during extended fasts. Your body is literally cleaning house. But while this rejuvenation is happening, another question begins to stir deep within your biology. How long can this balancing act last before the body's protective instincts start to fade? The answer lies beyond myth and into misunderstanding in the next phase of our story. Many people fear that skipping meals instantly puts their body into starving mode, a mythical state where metabolism crashes and muscles vanish overnight. But science tells a different story. In reality, true starvation mode doesn't appear for several days, even weeks, depending on your body composition and activity level. During the early days of fasting, metabolism actually increases. Your body releases norepinephrine and growth hormone to keep you alert, energetic, and capable of finding food. It's an evolutionary advantage. Your ancestors couldn't afford to be sluggish when they were hungry. Studies show that significant muscle loss usually doesn't occur until glycogen is fully depleted and body fat stores begin to shrink to critical levels. Until then, the body's goal is survival through conservation, not destruction. Your muscles are still safe. So, when does that line finally cross? When does fasting shift from strategic to sacrificial? That's where we're headed next, when your body begins fighting to preserve its most vital resource, muscle tissue itself. If you're enjoying this breakdown so far and love science that actually explains what happens inside your body, make sure to subscribe right now. New videos like this drop every week, each one diving deeper into the incredible logic of human biology. By the third or fourth day of fasting, your body fully commits to preservation mode. Instead of tearing down muscle, it doubles down on efficiency. Growth hormone levels surge, sometimes up to 5 times higher than normal, acting as a shield for your lean tissue. This hormone slows protein breakdown and promotes fat burning, ensuring your body keeps what truly matters: strength. It's evolution at work. Thousands of years ago, losing muscle meant losing survival chances. You couldn't hunt, defend, or even travel without muscle mass. So the body developed a hierarchy. Burn fat first, protect muscle second, and only in extreme cases, when starvation becomes unavoidable, start using muscle as the final fuel. This is why people who fast for several days often maintain muscle tone as long as hydration and electrolytes are managed. The human body isn't weak, it's adaptable, coded to survive scarcity with precision. But while your body is defending its muscle, it's also unlocking another secret weapon, a type of energy molecule that keeps your brain sharp even without food. Ketones. Imagine your brain running on a cleaner, more efficient fuel that burns steadily without the sugar crashes. That's what ketones are. Around the 48-hour mark, as fat metabolism ramps up, ketones flood your bloodstream, supplying energy to neurons and muscles alike. Your brain, which normally demands glucose, begins to thrive on these molecules. Mental clarity sharpens, mood stabilizes, and hunger decreases. This biochemical shift is why people on long fasts often report feeling more focused than ever before. Your mind is literally rewired for efficiency. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes perfect sense. When food was scarce, our ancestors needed to stay alert to find their next meal, not sluggish. Ketones made that possible, ensuring survival even in the harshest conditions. Yet beneath this brilliance lies a limit. The body can run on fat and ketones for quite some time, but not indefinitely. Eventually, the balance tips, and that's when muscle loss begins to creep in. The question is, when exactly does that moment arrive?
Most people assume muscle breakdown starts immediately during fasting, but that's far from the truth. Research shows that muscle preservation lasts surprisingly long, anywhere between 7 to 10 days, depending on individual fat stores, hydration, and activity level. During this period, fat provides nearly all of the body's energy. The real shift happens when fat reserves begin to run low. Once the body senses it's running out of stored energy, it reluctantly turns to protein, specifically muscle protein, to fuel vital organs.
This usually occurs when fasting extends beyond 2 weeks or when body fat drops to dangerously low levels. What's fascinating is how intelligent this process is. Even when muscle breakdown starts, the body prioritizes using less essential proteins first. Enzymes, not muscle fibers, go first. It's like dismantling spare parts before touching the engine. So no, your muscles don't vanish overnight. There's a deliberate, well-timed sequence behind it. But if you want to know the exact moment where fasting starts turning from friend to foe, science has a number, and that's coming up next. Clinical studies on fasting, from NASA research on astronauts to metabolic ward experiments, paint a consistent picture. The body can fast for up to 5 to 7 days with minimal muscle loss as long as hydration is maintained. Fat oxidation remains dominant and protein breakdown stays remarkably low. In one study, participants who fasted for 7 days lost primarily fat mass, not muscle, thanks to elevated ketones and growth hormone levels. This proves that the human body is far more resilient than most fitness myths suggest. However, the protection isn't limitless. After around 10 to 12 days, protein catabolism, muscle breakdown, begins to accelerate. The body starts converting amino acids into glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis, primarily to feed red blood cells and certain brain cells that still depend on glucose. So the real science-backed answer so far, fasting for several days won't destroy your muscle, but cross the 2-week mark and the balance begins to shift. The key is learning how to extend the benefits without triggering that breakdown. Here's the part many people overlook. Fasting doesn't automatically mean doing nothing. Incorporating light resistance exercise, body weight movements, walking, or stretching during fasting actually sends powerful signals to your muscles. It tells your body, hey, we still need this tissue. Studies have shown that even minimal strength training can preserve lean mass during fasting. The muscle fibers respond to tension by maintaining protein synthesis despite the absence of dietary protein. It's your body's way of adapting to movement as a survival priority. Speaking of protein, when you break your fast, the quality of your first meal matters immensely. A meal rich in leucine, found in eggs, fish, and legumes, reignites muscle protein synthesis and halts catabolism almost instantly. So fasting doesn't have to mean losing muscle. Done wisely, with hydration, micronutrients, and light resistance work, it becomes a dance between renewal and resilience. But what's the ideal window before things go too far? That's exactly what the next block will reveal. Every biological system has its breaking point, but it also has a zone of mastery. For fasting, that zone lies between 16 hours and 72 hours, depending on your experience and body composition. Within this zone, your body reaps maximum benefits. Insulin sensitivity improves, autophagy is in full swing, and muscle tissue stays protected. It's like surfing the perfect wave. Go too short, and you miss the magic. Go too long, and the tide starts pulling you under. This sweet spot allows your metabolism to switch fuels efficiently without triggering the cascade that leads to muscle degradation. So for most people, this means fasting 1 to 3 days periodically, or practicing intermittent fasting windows like 16 to 8 or 18 to 6. During this time, your body cycles through fat burning, cell repair, and mental clarity, all while preserving muscle mass. It's not about starving, it's about timing. Finding your personal threshold where biology works with you, not against you, is the true art of fasting. And while your body can adapt beautifully, pushing past that zone can come with consequences.
There's a fine line between discipline and danger. When fasting extends beyond 10 to 14 days, the body's internal alarm system begins to sound. Fat reserves shrink, ketone levels peak, and cortisol, the stress hormone, starts rising. This hormone accelerates protein breakdown, signaling the beginning of muscle loss. You might feel weaker, dizzy, or notice slower recovery from physical activity. These are early signs that your body is crossing from renewal into breakdown. Autophagy slows, electrolytes fluctuate, and the balance that once protected your muscles starts slipping away. This phase isn't about heroism, it's biology. Even monks and medical fasting studies acknowledge this threshold. Prolonged deprivation demands medical supervision and nutrient monitoring. So if you ever attempt an extended fast, the goal should never be to prove endurance. It should be to listen to the subtle whispers of your body saying, "Enough," because that's where wisdom begins. Science tells one side of the story, but experience completes it. From ancient spiritual traditions to modern biohackers, fasting has always been a test of both mind and metabolism. Take, for example, Dr. Yoshinori Ohsumi, whose research on autophagy won a Nobel Prize. Or modern physicians like Dr. Jason Fung, who use fasting therapeutically to combat obesity and diabetes without harming muscle mass. People who fast strategically, interspersing nourishment with deprivation, often describe it as a reset button for both body and spirit. They report sharper focus, better sleep, and a sense of lightness that transcends physical hunger. Yet, for every success story, there's a cautionary tale. Extended fasts without supervision can cause nutrient deficiencies, fatigue, or muscle weakness. The difference between healing and harm often lies in knowledge, not willpower. Before we reveal the ultimate science-backed answer, take a moment. Have you ever tried fasting before? What did you notice in your body or mind? Share it in the comments. Your experience might help someone else find their balance. If you're fascinated by how fasting transforms your body, wait until you see what it does to your immune system. Watch next, What Happens to Your Immune System During Fasting? Science Explained. It's the perfect sequel to this one. So how long can you fast before losing muscle? The scientific consensus is clear. Up to 7 days of fasting poses minimal risk for muscle loss, especially when hydration, electrolytes, and gentle movement are maintained. Beyond that, the balance shifts and the body begins using muscle tissue for survival. In other words, your body is designed to endure, not to waste away. It's a system built for adaptation, capable of unlocking energy reserves, sharpening focus, and cleaning itself at the cellular level before resorting to muscle as fuel. The key isn't how long you can fast, it's how intelligently you do it. Short, intentional fasts, supported by science, can enhance longevity, improve health markers, and boost mental clarity without sacrificing strength. So, next time you skip a meal, remember, you're not just withholding food. You're awakening a system older and wiser than civilization itself. If you enjoyed this journey through science and survival, like, share, and subscribe, because the next story might just change the way you see your body forever.